So thanks for your patience. So now I want to quickly just kind of go through the process of kind of what we're talking about on a high level here, right? So the idea is that you want to actually let me share my screen here. So the idea is right that we want to go live, right? We want to do an event. After we do an event, someone is going to go through and register. We're going to collect their email. They're going to get a thank you. They're going to go to a room. They're going to watch a replay, and then you have this entire system that essentially is driving traffic to get people to attend your event, right? So most people miss it, or most people who sign up actually miss it, and so leveraging the replays and the different social channels, reposting it, repurposing it, getting that attention, always being in front of people. That's the entire idea, right? So let me get out of this. So the idea here is that if we're going to go through, we're going to do an event, right? We're going to take this first step of creating the page. So creating the page is, very, very simple when you're just using like you type in the headline, you put in the description, you put in your presentation information, and that's ready to go, right? But the next step is like, where are we getting that exposure? Where are people going to be finding us? And so what I did is there's a bunch of other systems that you could use, but I wanted to create the most simple ones, 3 or 4 for you just to get started, just to really understand it, right? So even on YouTube, right? So you've got YouTube. If you want to go through and actually schedule a stream, right? So I would have to probably create a new one. So I'm going to go through it. You go through and actually create a new one. You put the day and time you want those events to go, right? And then officially from there, you are now in their marketplace. You are in the event marketplace. So if people are looking up for upcoming events, your event, if you schedule it in advance, it's going to be able to be found there, right? So if you think about Amazon, Amazon Live, for example, Amazon Live has an entire channel, and this is kind of the direction of where everything is going, right? They have an entire channel of just people hosting live events, and you're able to purchase from people live right then and there. And that's kind of the future of where we see the video and the video streaming going, for people to actually have their own infrastructure and their own Amazon Lives, so to speak, right? And so so now if you're going to go through, let's say you schedule a stream, right? So now that event is going to be in the YouTube marketplace. If there's tons of event directories, so you're talking in-person event directories, virtual event directories, this is just one of them, right? It's a popular one. And the reason why I like this one is because I was doing out of all of my research, when I was looking at if you go to Google, right? You go to Google and you search virtual events, okay? In virtual events, actually, I'm sorry, virtual event calendar. I think that's what it was. Yeah. So in here, now Google actually has a specific place specifically for online events, right? And so I was doing my research, going through all these different online events, trying to figure out where is Google pulling this data from, because they don't have their own virtual event calendar. They probably will soon, right? And so and they were pulling it from 10 times and Eventbrite. So I figured, if you're going to get, if you're going to maximize your exposure and maximize your SEO, because they're very, Google's obviously, heavily favoring them, that's where I would be posting my events. And that's kind of where you start building the momentum on, you're hitting different channels, right? You're hitting Google, you're hitting Facebook, you're hitting YouTube. And so the idea is like, okay, you created this event, you're trying to capture attention, you're trying to figure out what's working. Now, if you're getting exposure and you're seeing that there's 300, 400, 500 people who are seeing your page and they're not signing up, that's probably less of a traffic issue, right? And maybe you need more volume or a higher quality audience that's viewing the page, but you're able to see how far along are people actually watching, are reading down to learn more about this event that you're hosting. How fast are they leaving? Are they going to your sign up page? So you have to kind of track all of that. And if you're noticing that they're not really reading the information on the page, then something's not resonating, right? And if something's not resonating, we got to go through and make a change. And so that's kind of the whole idea here. And I actually do spend a lot of time going on Amazon Live to see what are these people doing as far as how are these Amazon influencers leveraging their exposure on Amazon and bringing it to other platforms. Some of them have great, good email lists. Some of them have a good Instagram following. Some of them have a good YouTube following. And so that part's kind of really interesting to me as far as really understanding like where are people going before they're making their purchases. And now again, this is really focused on the e-commerce side, right? But if you're a business to business, or you're selling professional services, or you're using software, it's interesting to think about what's the reverse path of maybe what are people shopping for through e-commerce before they actually go and buy from you, right? And it could be digital products, it could be physical products. So you kind of have to think creatively around that. I'm putting together a couple of things and a couple e-commerce programs to actually, for myself, right, to see if we get some traction and volume around that. I'll chat about that later, but that's kind of the whole idea around it, right? So if you go to like Facebook, Facebook's got their own events, right? They have their own event calendar. So if we click here, we go to events, right? We can, once we create our own event and it could be virtual, then this could be available here, right? So you've got, again, you've got the Amazon Live where you have like upcoming events. So you can schedule it on different marketplaces. You've got Facebook, you've got Eventbrite, you've got 10 times. That information is all being pulled in through Google. So again, it's really good. It's really important to kind of figure that out and figure out what makes sense for your messaging, your brand, your audience on that side, right? So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. But I hope that kind of gives you more insight on really understanding how you can use your online presence to get more exposure, to figure out, okay, this and this messaging is actually getting a lot more traction, right? You could be actually hosting the same event over and over and over again and actually just change the headlines and see what captures people's attention, and do your research and go online and search that, based on what events are getting the most attention, right? And so take a deep dive in that. I'm going to go through and check if there's any comments that are coming in. So I'll stick around for a quick second. But other than that, that is everything that I have to share with you guys today. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. And if you're watching a replay, feel free to just comment in the threads. I will, or in the chat box there. I'll be happy to go and respond to all those people. I'll get notifications on that. So again, thank you everyone for attending, and we will chat soon. Have a great day.